Hello there and welcome to Chris's Retro Corner. I'm Chris, this is my Retro Corner, and this is the JYE Tech DSO 150 Kit Oscilloscope. In a previous video we had a quick look at this, unboxed the kit and had a snoop around. In this video we're going to put it together. So let's grab our soldering iron, get it plugged in and heating up, ready to go. So, right, last time we looked at this, I thought this was a user manual and we'd got an assembly manual, but we haven't. These are the 4 pages of the user manual. So we've got 1, 2, 3 and 4. So I've had a read through. It doesn't look too bad. It's a partially assembled kit. So what we've got is the main board, an analog board, which is the through-hole component board that we saw in the last video, and that's the one that we're going to be building up today. So yeah, fingers crossed. I'm literally going to start right at the beginning. So I don't know. This is revision 9. I don't know if this is better than some others. I've seen a couple of videos other people have done whereby the assembly hasn't quite gone according to plan. So I'm really hoping this is a slightly more revised sort of user manual. So yeah, first thing, check the quantities of the bits and pieces and parts that we've got. So let's start unboxing this. This is our bag of bits. These were the boards. Pop those out. So that's the actual analog board. Where most of the building is going to be going on. Once that's assembled, that's going to go on here. What else have we got? The case itself. Okay, didn't I do that in the last video as well? There's nothing keeping that in. Go on, for a laugh, we'll pop those back in there and it will happen just one more time. Let's pop those to one side. Pop these up the top here. Fortunately, like I said, the majority of the SMD soldering has already been done, so you can see the chips on there. Fortunately, already on there. So yeah, I'm not too bad with my soldering skills, but yeah, that might have proven a little difficult. So this is where most of the parts are. So let's pop it open, have a look. So let's pop that out. I've got the rotary encoder. There we go. And it's board. Got the BNC connector there. Right. Gonna need some glasses for this. Let's pop these on. Okay. So let's get this sorted out. Join me in just a few moments. Okay, so having a quick look at the picture here, it looks at a quick glance like we've got everything we should have. Pretty sure I counted 6 of those. Yeah. Only thing is this mess of resistors. I think it was 16. We should have. Yes, there it is. So yeah, we've got 16 resistors here. A few double ups. But that was. Let's have another look at that. So yeah, that was a little tricky to understand. So what I've done is I have made this, so I can marry up the resistors to the right values. I'm not an electrical engineer. I'm almost a hobbyist, I think, at a push, so I do not understand the colour coding for these. So yeah, the best thing I can think of here is to literally sort these out into the sort these out into the right resistance. Just probably poke them through the holes there. So I'm going to do that, and again I'll see you in just a bit. Well, this is a lot harder than it looks. These are a lot smaller. The lighting in here is not great. So I'm going to have a bit of a rethink. Maybe we should meter these instead. So I ended up getting quite frazzled looking at these resistors and trying to work things out, because I had one resistor here that I couldn't seem to measure, and I've got one resistor left. I thought it must have been that one, but why couldn't I measure it? I figured it must have been wrong. So had a bit of a think about it. We're now in a new day. So new day, new morning, new cup of tea. Lovely. And looking at this with fresh eyes, what I've realised in my rookie, I'm not an electronics whiz, sort of way here, is that there's a reason I can't measure this one. I thought it was because it was potentially broken, but yeah, what it is that this must be the 5.1 mega ohms resistor, and I can't measure it because on my multimeter it only goes up to 2 mega ohms, so I couldn't measure it, hence why it doesn't give a reading. But last night when I was trying to work that out, it just didn't make any sense. So I'm pretty sure that this one, 5.1 mega ohm, is this little resistor here is probably the 510k, and I've just got my wires crossed, figuratively speaking. So let's pop that in there. Let's pop this one in here. I'm pretty sure it's going to be that one. And what I will do is I will retest and just make sure that I'm at 100% right, because I really do want to be. There's it's really hard to say exactly how big these aren't. They're really small. So trying to look at them, even with quite high magnification lenses, you know, where these for sort of very close-up work, we really need to see some detail, and I just couldn't see the colours. It just wasn't making a great deal of sense. So I will test those in just a second. Quick shout out to Kristen, thank you for this. You may have noticed that the slate tile, the slate coaster, has disappeared. We've got a shiny new solder stand. Oh, forgot to add that. So thank you very much, Kristen, for that. So yeah, no further ado, I'm going to double check these again. So, I'm pretty sure that I've now got these in the right place. Yay! So let's get on with the next bit. Right, put these over here. Where was page 1? Page 2. 1. Right. Okay, so it says before doing anything, connect a 9-volt power supply, center positive to the power socket on the board. Check the display. Apparently we should see the scope boot up to a similar state of the photo, so there's showing a reading there, and the D1 LED blinks 3 times. So let's find the D1 LED. Can't find it. So let's grab a 9-volt source and a lead. Let's plug this in. We'll look for that blinking LED. It's powering up, so that's a good sign. Ah, I found the LED. It's under here, I think. And that's the readout. There we go. Splendid. The D1 LED, it was right there. I thought that was a resistor. These are absolutely tiny. If I show you this, yeah, absolutely tiny. But that's the display, so we know the display is working okay. Right, that bit's done. On to the next bit. Okay, looks like we've got some soldering to do. starting to come together now. So let's move on. So we have to reapply power, test the switch, and test the tactile switches there. R30 that I've just removed apparently bypasses the power switch. So the off on switch there. So yeah, another quick power on. Don't know how many times that happens, so we might just leave this on here. Power, switch on, that's a good sign. Let it boot up. Assume that little LED just blinks all the time. Right, there we go. That one's working. That one's working. So's that. And there we go, the hold. Running, hold. Splendid. That appears to be working. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop all the resistors into the right holes and then solder them all up. So that's all the resistors on the board. Just need to solder them all in. So here's our board. Bit untidy on that side, but I'll trim that off in just a second. There we go. Looks okay. There we go, one board. Okay, so the next thing to do is put the ceramic capacitors on the board. I'm going to re-familiarise myself with the ratings of these to understand the numbers, because they do not tie up straight away, if you see what I mean. Some of the resistors as well, it's quite interesting that some of these didn't have K values on here. So yeah, need to double check that. That's kind of why it took me so long, or part of the reason why it took me so long to do the resistors. Ceramic capacitors, I will go and check these. I'll come back in a moment. So, fresh tea. And let's see about fitting these ceramic capacitors to the board. There we go. So there are the capacitors on the board. Now to tidy that up. And that is the electrolytic capacitors on the board now as well. Great stuff. Actually making some progress now. So this is our finished board. Hopefully it looks something like that. I think it does. Let's have a look. What do you think? Yeah, close enough. Right. Now for the next sheet. Thank you for joining me for part 1 of this kit oscilloscope build. We've got the analog board built, so we're gonna move on and we're going to assemble the front module. We're going to verify the voltages on the analog board, and then we're going to attempt to calibrate it. It's been a little bit longer getting here than I thought it was going to. I've learnt quite a lot along the way, so you are joining me very much for what is a learning experience. So I'm looking forward to part 2. it's been an adventure. I've had 65 gigabytes of video to try and go through and edit. So this is part one. Part two will follow along very shortly. So do please join me for part two. And yeah, my endeavour is to get this up and running and functional and usable, because I do need it. So thank you very much for joining me, and I do look forward to seeing you again in another video soon.